Let's get started on our first keynote of the day, and that's how to build high-performing teams. Our guest is Linoy Kidd, CIO Markets and Securities Services, Middle East and North Africa at HSBC. Linoy, hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You have the pleasure of opening the show today. I know you've got a keynote for us today, so let's hear from you. Let's not hear from me. The virtual floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi everyone, my name is Linoy Kidd. I work for HSBC and I'm the MSS CIO for MENAT. I have a small treat for you today. It's not going to be like any keynote you've heard before. And I want to illustrate to you how I bring synergies between my corporate life and my community life and how that builds high-performing teams. So this, we'll go into it. We're going to go into a bit of history here, and then we'll go into the philosophy. So let's start. So basically, what is a great leader? I've put a lot of thought into this over the time. I've written so much about this. I've written small papers, white papers, etc., etc. And as you go through history, you know, we can pick out some amazing leaders that have changed the world. I mean, Churchill literally changed the face of Europe. If he wasn't there during the Second World War, you know, Britain would have been at risk. So an amazing leader from the front. Gandhi, another one, absolute amazing leader. Go-to people that have gone the extra mile in peace with no violence to change the fundamental lives of people around them. And then you look at Martin Luther King. I have a dream. I'm always quoting Martin Luther King and Maya Angelou. You know, Maya Angelou was a poet and a writer, and she said, people will never remember what you say, but what they will remember how you make them feel. And I do believe in that statement wholeheartedly. And then I've put Bob Geldof down here because he had a huge impact on my life when I was a teenager, specifically around, you know, feeding the world. For anyone around my age, you know, he's pretty much a hero to us. And then I put Michelle Obama because she is educating the children of the world. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what has this got to do with corporate life? And what has this got to do with building teams? So that's what I'm going to explain. So I've managed teams all over the world. I've managed teams in London. I've managed teams in Hong Kong, China, Mexico, and now Dubai. And what I've tried to do is understand what makes people tick and the synergies around them. And on the side of my day job, I build schools. So I've built schools in multiple locations all around the world. And I do that on side of job. So what I do is I've built schools in Africa, Haiti, Senegal, and I built a house for the homeless in Mexico because when I was living in Mexico, I really, really wanted to make a change for Mexico. And when we go and build these schools, we meet all these amazing leaders there. And those leaders have to come and construct the building with us. So they come and they literally build from scratch the schools with us. And so what I've done over the 9 years of doing that is taken the best of that leadership and brought it into corporate life. And I'll give you an example. So this guy that you see here is the Nicaraguan chief. He built every single house in his village from scratch. And he knew every single baby's name in the village. And he knew every single child, mum, and father in the village. Sorry, that's my son. And he knew every single person. And not only that, he was the hardest working on the work site. So absolutely incredible. And then how do I bring that back into HSBC? So I said to myself, I want to be a leader like that. So that basically means that I, Linoy Kid, will never do anything that I'll ask my team to do. I'll do it with them. So if we have to make a change at 3 a.m., I'll make that change with them. And if I ask them to sacrifice their time, I will be there with them. I will be basically by their side and making sure that we can do whatever we can do for the business to ensure that the business can be the best that they can be. And therefore, that's how I've brought into reality corporate life and community life. And when I talk about high-performing teams, I talk about when you take on. I've got to go to another room. Sorry. Sorry, it's raining buckets here in Dubai, and I've got to work from home. My son's in the next room. So, okay, so let me go upstairs.
That's no problem, Linoy, don't worry. No problem at all.
Sorry about
No, it's okay.
I put him on screen. He's very cute. He's very cute.
That's fine. I regularly get interrupted by my dog, who, as far as I know, doesn't have a great knowledge of fintech. I'm sure your son can contribute. So don't worry at all. Don't worry at all.
Okay, so anyway, I'm in the other room now. So basically, what I do when I take on a team, and I'll talk you through the philosophy of this. So when I build teams, I go into different countries, and I sit them down and I say, this is the strategy that we are going to do together. And I make sure that there's no ambiguity about any of their roles. So they know what their role is, and they know what the strategy is, and they know that we're going to do it hand in hand together. So that's basically how I start. But also, I make sure that we have the right people in the right place in the right location. And it's very, very important, because everybody wants to come into work and do a good job. Everyone wants to come in and utilize the skills that they have to the maximum of their potential and leave and say, yes, I did a really amazing job today. So I really try and match, basically, I really match their skill set. And if I feel like a skill set's not working, I'll move it around. And the other thing is that when you look at leaders, and which, on the previous slide we did, a lot of the qualities are around, being humble and being a team player and instilling that team player ethos. But also, if you think about the best leaders that you have, they keep morale high, and that they're continuously making you laugh. That's a big part of building an amazing team. So that's basically what I do, and then I do have some things in my toolkit as well. So I have like the double loop learning and the Chris Argis storming, norming, performing. So and I do see that in all of my teams. But the other thing that I do is I always ask my team, and this is a funny one, but as part of military training, you have to be a very good leader, but you also have to be a very good follower. And basically, if you have alienated followers in your team, then you're not going to be able to create a high-performing team. So you need to ask yourself, will your team go into battle for you? And if the answer is no, then why not? And that's, basically that's the, that I basically ask every single team. I'm like, will you go to battle for me? And luckily for me, everyone have said yes. So I just want to go back to the corporate versus sustainability. When we build these schools, as part of raising the money for this, we walk 100 kilometres. Now, anyone out there who's an avid walker would know that 100 kilometres is incredibly long. It's 24 hours, and you know, it takes a lot out of you. Now, the reason that I bring this up is when you take someone on that journey, you really get to know that person. You get to know what makes them tick. You get to know the person. You get to know what makes them break. And I've literally seen, you know, like 95 kg men collapse on the floor and cry because they can't finish the 100 kilometers. And I've had to pick a few up myself. And so again, that all helps in the interplay of knowing the people and knowing the people around you, and creating these amazing networks within a network within a network. And I think this is why, you know, it makes my job so easy, because I know so many people through this work that we do within HSBC. So if I need to, you know, pull a favor, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? They'll be like, oh yeah, because they're almost like my brothers now. They've walked hand in hand with me. They've come and built schools with me, and it just goes hand in hand. I know that I'm talking a lot, and I don't know how much I'm overrunning, but in any case, I just want to give you the reason why I do what I do. So this woman on the top right is my grandmother, and she's Kurdish. She was born in Iraq. She was never taught to read or write. So I made it my calling in life to teach as many teenage mothers, because that's what she was. She was married at 13 and then had her child at 14, and then had, you know, subsequent 6 of them. But she could never read and write. So she never had anything in her toolkit to basically grow and therefore step outside of the poverty line. And she had to work continuously, you know, as a cleaner, etc., etc. And so these schools that we build, they have after education, and they teach women like her who were teenage mothers to come back to school and get their high school education. And then this is the journey that we've taken over time. So this is everything that we've done to date. And this is the impact that we've had on these countries. As you can see, the impact goes deep, but the impact goes even deeper when you realize the impact not only on them, but on you. So the impact it's had on me as a leader in a corporate setting, but not only that, of my team as well, it's been absolutely incredible. And I will tell you guys what we did during COVID. So 4 years ago, I arrived in Dubai. I arrived 1 month before COVID hit. And then the head of trading told me, you need to do something that we've never done before, and that is make sure that the whole trading floor can do home working. We managed to rack and stack them in the fastest time so that they would have no downtime for their clients. And we had to do that in a very, very fast pace. I had to mobilize the team. It was a new team to me. I was the new leader. And we had to build this amazing amount of trust between us to do that. And we worked till midnight every day during COVID to ensure that the business was up and running and that they could service the clients. And we built our reputation off that. So my closing statement to you is this. If you are a leader of men and women, you have a responsibility, because when you bring people together, you can do amazing things. And I really believe that when you do bring people together, that anything is possible. And as you can see, no one would probably believe that, someone in HSBC could have this kind of impact on the world. And we did it. And this movement that we have now is pretty much, thousands and thousands and thousands of people deep. So we've had this huge impact. But not only does it have an impact on the world, it has an impact on every day that you walk inside the office. So this is what I say to the people that I mentor. If you're in a bad mood, take a time out, go and have a coffee, relax, because when you walk in the room, everyone is looking to you when you're the leader, and you really need to be poised, and you really need to understand that people look up to you and people want to see that you have everything in control. So please realize that you have a huge impact on the people around you, and that you can do amazing things with that impact. 3 questions for you I always set home. So the first one is, when I die, what is my legacy? What am I leaving behind? I always say that if I die tomorrow, I'll be a happy lady, because my legacy is set. We've educated over 30,000 people. 10,000 of those are women. 5,000 of those are going back to education after they're given birth to their children. And the second thing is, when you wake up in the morning, say to yourself, who am I going to help today? And what am I going to learn today? Every day is an education. Every day is an education. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I don't know if we need to do Q&A, or I'll hand back.
Linoy, thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed. It's an extraordinary legacy and an extraordinary keynote to open the show with today. Absolutely inspiring stuff. I've got a couple of questions for you, if I may. Have you ever experienced anything in your career where you are approaching leadership in an empathic, collaborative way, not expecting anyone in your team to do something you wouldn't do yourself? Have you ever had a situation where you've been challenged maybe by someone with more, how do I say this diplomatically, traditional leadership and managerial approaches? Have you ever had that situation, and how have you coped with that? Yeah, definitely. So I've had to deal with many leaders over my time. And the thing is, for me, I always tap into the psyche, right? So, everyone is human. And again, it goes back to this whole, everyone wants to do the right thing. They really do. They want to do the right thing. And I really believe that you can take people on the journey, be that your manager, your CEO, your whoever it may be. You just have to tap inside the psyche and understand how they tick, and then take them on the journey with you. And to be honest with you, I don't mind traditional management. I've lived traditional management for a long time. I've been in industry for 24 years now. And I've seen a lot of managerial styles. It's just for me. I want to lead from the front. I know that I want to lead from the front. That's something that I want to do for my people. But that doesn't necessarily mean that if I'm with someone that leads from the side, I'm not going to be a follower. I am, because I want to put my leaders at peace, that I will follow them, because every leader needs that peace. Absolutely, that's a good way of viewing things. And finally, if you could thank your son for joining us as well. If he was on LinkedIn, I would tag him too. Oh my God! What's his name? No problem. What's that? What's his name? Zahav. Zahav. Well, if you could thank Zahav from us as well, he made a valuable contribution to the start of the show today. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you for joining us at Fintech Live Dubai. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
you.